The Top Rope Podcast, Wrestlemania Post Edition. Tell you what I thought when that main event was starting last night. We get an epic intro from Cody Rhodes with the mask or helmet, whatever you want to call it, that he was wearing, how it shifted automatically. You can see his face. Was it better than last year's? I'd probably argue so, but it's close, man. Both pretty epic entrances on the grandest stage of them all for Cody Rhodes. Then you get John Cena coming out in all black. That was pretty wild. But then by about the time this, place is going nuts, you hear some Cena sucks. Let's go Cena. I don't know if we heard Cody there. I had a feeling they might boo him after what happened coming into WrestleMania in that last face-to-face with Cena and John Cena on SmackDown. I had a feeling, and then there was just so much noise, so much energy. Yeah, he got booed, definitely at times, for sure. But once all the hoopla of the moment starting out kind of faded and the match started to settle in, those first few minutes, I got to be honest with you, I'm looking over at my buddies going, just waiting on The Rock. Oh boy, just waiting on The Rock, But it's fine. It started out slow. They're trying to tell a story there other than just the moves. And I get that. And when it works, it works. I wasn't that impressed early on. The match picked up, got going. I'm like, all right, I'm into this. This is going to be good now. When The Rock's music hits, waiting on it. Well, then in my area, I got a freaking tornado warning. The sirens are blasting off, so I'm trying to watch and kind of keep a peek on the weather. So I'm seeing what happens, but at the same time, it's like, oh, what? I'm like, Travis Scott, I'm like, the only thing that saves me from worrying less about the weather in that moment and more about WrestleMania is waiting on The Rock. And The Rock's music never hits. If you're telling me, Dwayne, that, just trust me, just enjoy the ride that The Rock's taking you on. Well, you didn't even show up for the ride. And you can say, but I think he's making this and this movie and this and this and this. I don't care. That was your first love, the thing that helped propel you to all that other stuff, and you are a part of the story here. And you don't even bother showing up, grandest stage of them all. Now, I don't know, could have been a booking decision or scheduling. I have no idea, obviously, so I'm just speculating on that. But, unless the man's sick, hurt, can't get there, he's part of the story. He should have been at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, but not everybody and their brother is going to know who Travis Scott is. Yes, I know. If I'm a casual fan and watching, I'm like, some rapper? What the hell is some rapper doing out there right now? Oh, well, he was at the last deal. Oh, he's been on there before. You don't know who Travis Scott is? No, not everybody, but because it's a generational thing. But The Rock brings those generations. The Rock spans more than just a one generation. Spans so many generations. So I just thought it was a major letdown that all we saw was Travis Scott come in there and interfere, and it was just anticlimactic. Boy, oh boy. I'm extremely excited to see what happens, to see how John Cena is going to try and ruin professional wrestling. Now that we're there and he's won the title, he should just, if he's a true heel, just like, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I take the title. I told you I was going to win the title. I'm taking it home. I was the last true champion. But I think a little part of it is going to be like, he still agreed to this farewell tour, so we know we're still getting the farewell tour, but how do they make it make sense storyline-wise, and why he just doesn't take his belt and go home, because it's what he said he was going to do. So how do we get to Randy Orton and John Cena at next month's pay-per-view and Backlash? In that main event, how do we even get Cena to defend it? Why is he just going to go home? So do we start to see little threads of John Cena? Still with the hustle, loyalty. The respect thing. He said he's going to finish out his tour. Is it a respect? Like, yep, I'm a man of my word. I'm still going to do that. And then at the end of the day, whenever I fulfilled my obligation of what I said I was going to do and come back and do one farewell tour, I'm not doing it for you, the fans. I'm doing it for me. This is my victory lap now that I'm going to put on the next few months. First, I'm going to take out Randy Orton at Backlash. Then I'm going to take out CM Punk. Yada, yada, yada. Like, I think that would be a good way to go about that in keeping John Cena full-on heel mode for now. Because obviously, whoever ends up beating John Cena, now that Cena's eclipsed 16 and 17, I just thought it was so anticlimactic not having The Rock out there. I thought the moment could have been so much bigger. 17, it felt like it should have been so much bigger. Like I said, we're forecasting into the future, though. Regardless of how that all went down, it should have been better than it was. I do think it's going to be very, very intriguing to see who ends up taking that championship off Cena, because no, Cena's not going home with it. He's not going to be the last real champion. Somebody's going to come in and save professional wrestling. If John Cena's going to ruin it, somebody's got to come in and save it. And I think maybe they were possibly planning, at least had the thought in their head of making that be Cody Rhodes' event again eventually. But Cody Rhodes already had his time. He already has his run. And people are booing him now. So I don't think we get back. I was saying before, maybe we get back to Cena says, Cody ends up beating him. Cena ends up saying, you know what, Cody, you were right all along. I never should have sold my soul to The Rock. But again, if we're going to talk about these things, The Rock should have been there. So I think we're probably going in a different direction now. But that's how I would have maybe went with it at first. But now that Cody's getting booed, maybe that's the direction. We go in that direction still. Or somebody else has got to come in and save professional wrestling. I just think if it would have been John Cena, I just don't think he's retiring as a heel. I do not think that's happened. I think he will leave a babyface when this heel run is done. And the way to do that would have been having him say that he screwed up. He never should have sold the soul to The Rock. You were right, Cody, because you had Cody beat him for that title. And then John Cena says all that, and then The Rock comes along and, you know, says, oh no, you sold your soul to me, your soul's mine, yada, yada, yada. And then that's John Cena's final match. John Cena is the babyface and The Rock is the heel. I don't know if that's their plans or it was their plans, how we get back to that, or if it's somebody else that can come along. I don't know. I don't know, because I just don't know if the fans are going to accept if Cody's the one that wins it back just after all those boos, and do they pivot because of those boos? Like, these are just very, very interesting things as we move forward, but I was not highly impressed with the main event. I do have it at number, what do we got it at here? I think around 7, or maybe I put it at 5. Looks like I ended up putting it at 3 just because of Cena breaking the record. Like, and my ranking system is definitely based on my personal, what popped off the most, but not necessarily in a good way, because I do play in the historical, the historical aspect of it does play a big part in my ranking system here. So did I think it was pretty awful and pretty trash? Yes, but it was still John Cena breaking the record, so that's still huge, huge moment. So I did have it high up there on, like maybe we should change the name of the list here, most impactful, most memorable list, because, if I could break it down, to the best match, like what does that criteria include? Like the build-up, how much I was intrigued on it, how good the in-ring is, and also what's at stake here. Those all play in as a factor. So what was at stake was history, and John Cena made history. So I do have it as high as number 3, even though I ranked that main event C-. And let's go down at number 14, worst match. We're going worst to first. One, I was not a fan of the New Day and the War Raiders from the second match on night number 1. It just didn't. It didn't pop off for me, man. I'd rather have seen the TLC match. And to be honest with you, I hadn't been all that invested in the SmackDown division. It's just those three teams have been fighting each other for so long. I'm ready for something else. I don't think they should have two titles at all, to be honest with you. I don't think that they've built up enough of these tag teams that they're that good to where we can have two titles. I think it'd be much more compact and exciting and interesting if you just had the tag teams going after one set of tag team belts and having them bounce back and forth between the two brands, and NXT can still do whatever they want. But yeah, it should have been the TLC match there. It was not. You look down this card here, there was a few more matches last year, I think, that had like special implications, but I mean, triple threat matches, yes, technically anything goes on those, and we saw a few, saw two different triple threat matches, and we saw a street fight, but we didn't see anything else that was too crazy. Well, fatal four-way, so that anything goes in that one as well, but we didn't see any, just absolutely crazy stipulations on that Mania, so I think the TLC match would have been welcome. But number 13, I hate to do it. I really hate to do it, but I'm such a historian when it comes to the Royal Rumble. And Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. He should have main evented WrestleMania, but he couldn't have. Because after what happened with that triple threat, spoiler alert, that's number one on my list. Number one is that triple threat from night one with Roman and Seth and Punk. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. So the only way I think they could have still made this halfway make somewhat sense would have been to put Jey Uso and Gunther, especially considering with how it went out anticlimactic, on a down note with your heel winning the main event. If that's going to end WrestleMania, right before that, I need to have something that just blew my socks off and made me go nuts. And that would have been to yeet all over the frickin' place. And you could have called it the double main event, night two, double main event, because his frickin' name is Main Event Jey Uso. He won the Royal Rumble. That's a guaranteed spot in the main event of WrestleMania, but they glossed over it. They're like, let's just totally ignore that. Like we're some dumbasses. No, you don't do that in 2025. You do not insult us as the fans. That's supposed to be there. He's supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania because of what happened at the Royal Rumble. Next year's Royal Rumble, am I going to care as much? I'm hoping to, man, because that's my favorite event of the year at WrestleMania. They're right there neck and neck, but it sets us up on the road to WrestleMania. I don't want to harp on this too long because we got a lot to cover, but it sets us up on the road to WrestleMania. You're supposed to main event it. He did not, so that was a major, major letdown. You could have had him co-main evented. It would, and at least, maybe it's a little bit still convoluted. And maybe like, oh, well, he's not really in the main event. Well, that's better than putting him in the frickin' first match. But then again, they say, if you're not going to go on last, the best other spot is to go on first. Any other time, don't mind it. But that's not what you have told me for 20, 30 years now, however long Royal Rumbles, 30-something at least, right? 30 years, you main event WrestleMania. I don't think that's the first time in history that, as far as I know of, that's ever happened. The person who won the Royal Rumble hasn't gone on to main event WrestleMania. So I wanted to be if it was the double main event on Sunday or even Saturday. But Saturday wouldn't have made sense because, well, yeah, maybe. All three of those guys were baby faces. But yeah, no, Sunday's the time they should have done it. I would have been yeeting all over the place, fine, said it was great. I mean, that would have been, Jey Uso, great moment. Still a made man now, I guess, kind of, sort of, but not in my eyes because I'm not blind by the fact that you totally just insulted our intelligence, WWE, on that one. So that's a major on that one. Just saying, God bless, though, a lot of the other shit they did was pretty fantastic, including the reason why that wasn't in the main event. So I had Uso and Gunther at number 13. I only yeeted like 6 times. Like I said, I would have been yeeting all over the place. But, and even, one more note on that and then I'll move on. Even freaking Wade Barrett at ringside, whenever he's doing his little stuff with, or they're doing the little slap, 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 Wade Barrett goes, oh, it's a little bit anticlimactic, or a little bit, I think he said subdued, paraphrasing here, but I think he said subdued. Oh, that was a little bit subdued, but and then he tries to cover himself by saying, well, no, I'm just pacing myself, we got 2 long nights ahead of us, so I'm just pacing myself. I don't think that, I think he messed up in saying what he said. I think he did a great job saving it, but I think he messed up there because he also felt Jey Uso should have been in the main event. I'm in a little bit of logical guessing, but I heard what I heard, and I heard the way that he said it. Otherwise, I don't understand. I just don't think he said it for the fact that he was trying to pace himself. I think he tried to cover it up there. He did a nice job, like I said, covering it up, but it was just, not cool, man. Not cool. Let's move on. At number 12 here, our notes are a little bit, I'm writing them quick so I don't want to miss the show, but I'm trying to make a little bit of notes. Looks like I had, that women's tag team championship match. I gave that a C-. First of all, as Triple H said, this is reading between the line, but not really, because if you know the lingo, then you know that whenever Triple H said on the post-show, like Bayley, a true pro means, hey, we're going to create this injury angle. Yeah, it's going to lead to this and this and this, but it's also going to lead to you here very shortly not being on the Wrestlemania, because we want to bring Becky back. We don't know where else to bring Becky back. We can bring Becky back here, and here's what we can do with it after all that. And Bayley apparently told Triple H, sounds good, boss. Sounds good, boss. Just being the true pro, not taking it personally, knowing she's already had a bunch of moments, setting her ego aside and knowing that the bigger impact there and a bigger way to pop Mania off would be to have Bayley get fake injured and have Becky Lynch return. Cool, nice that Becky was back. I was surprised they gave them the tag team titles. I had Liv and Raquel in that one just as I thought, well, maybe they're going to make Judgment Day look super duper strong. And, well, that didn't necessarily happen now, did it? So I think perhaps we are, especially if Dom ends up getting cheered like he did during that match, after the match, on the post show, they're chanting dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom. I mean, wow. After how loud they booed him for so long, but how many times have we seen that happen where a total flip-flops and they do such a great job of being the bad guy for so long that they turn into the good guy. I mean, it's just, it's classic. It's classic wrestling. And I'm very interested to see what happens with Dirty Dom and the Judgment Day after the women lost the title. Just thought maybe they would make them all, make them strong, looking super good again, and then have some more cracks in them. But I think this is a great way. Do we see Dirty Dom just split off from him? I don't know. What happens there? Do we see, I think Finn and Dom, maybe Finn leaves the Judgment Day? Or does the whole thing just break apart? Liv and Raquel still stay as a tag team, try to get their belts back for a while, and then the whole thing just breaks apart maybe by SummerSlam, possibly. But yeah, the women's tag wasn't anything spectacular. Nice return by Becky Lynch. I gave that a C-. At number 11, I had, oh boy, I don't know what to feel about this one. Randy Orton's my guy, probably my favorite of all time. He's right up there, with Ric Flair and Sting, Undertaker, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, some of these other guys, but Randy Orton's right up there. I'm a St. Louis sports guy, so I'm a big fan of anything St. Louis, and I love Randy Orton. I didn't necessarily love this. I thought it was, I've started seeing some criticism, like, why, if you're TNA, like, why do you want, send your champion out there to get kind of squashed by Randy Orton in 5 minutes? I actually thought it was great. I thought it was like, well, what's TNA? Well, that's another show. Oh, that guy's from there? Well, he's kind of entertaining. Like, well, that's kind of interesting. To me, I'm on the boat of like, okay. Like, he kind of caught lightning in a bottle, and he might be a flash in the pan when it comes to Joe Hendry. And please, I hope, if I'm me, I get that kind of criticism, I'm taking that, and I'm going, go F yourself, Gary. I'm the man. I'm going to use it to fuel. I was just at WrestleMania. What have you done? So not really trying to throw too much shade at Joe. I'm just not a huge fan. I believed at first, but I can't. Good on him. Good on him that he's gotten as far as he got, and he had a WrestleMania match by luck. It was kind of a luck thing with Kevin Owens. Even though that was a really long, drawn-out storyline and everything with Randy and KO, Cody and all that's involved. Like, we're still going to circle back to some of that. Maybe eventually when we get Randy and Cody, hopefully at some point, and tell years of story. But even with everything, I wasn't extremely excited about Orton and KO. So I was excited about the possibility of whoever might come in and answer Randy Orton's open challenge. I would have rather seen it be Nick Aldis, and they kind of hinted at some of that, Nick getting pissed off, but he was just pissed off because he took another RKO. I would have rather seen that, but once they announced that it was going to be an open challenge and didn't just set that up on SmackDown, I knew it probably wasn't going to be Nick Aldis. I heard my buddy was rumoring Scotty, who hopefully he'll be back with us later on this week. We'll break down the Raw after WrestleMania, probably talk more about WrestleMania, and of course, just what we see as potential moving towards the future. But Scotty was like, could be Rusev. And, could be so-and-so, ends up being freaking Joe Hendry. And I just kind of laugh and smile. I tell you what, I pop pretty damn hard whenever that RKO, whenever Hendry's doing his thing, and then you just see his head go across the screen and then down. Fantastic. We'll say that was one. Then the camera work on that was just so spectacular. Absolutely incredible RKO. And then the second one, and then Orton does the turnaround into the pose. Like, that was pretty great, man. That was pretty great. So I thought they did the best they could with that. Wasn't necessarily who I wanted to see, but you know what? Good on them. Gave that a C+. And moving on to number 10, I had El Grande, Americana, and Rey Fenix. Be honest with you, maybe seeing Rey just because you don't know how many more WrestleManias that Rey Mysterio is going to have. So, we could argue maybe I want to see him, but I'm interested to see what Rey Fenix is doing. His WrestleMania debut, and I thought he stepped in there and did a really nice job. I think the metal plate and Grande's mask just at WrestleMania night one and a little before that, and I think after that we'll continue to play a good story. Eventually, I think we need to see a mask versus mask. Probably, I guess, between Mysterio and El Grande, Americana, at some point. And then we get the reveal that it's Chad Gable, or maybe it's not Chad Gable. Like, we're living in an age where some way, somehow, I think they could do it where we see them both at the same time. And then that gives Chad Gable a little thing to say, I told you it wasn't me. I told you it wasn't me. But then then it ends up being revealed that it was a fake. Or maybe they pull his mask off, like this isn't him, and you clearly know it's not him in the back or something, and then you just set it up where Gable just keeps denying it, that it's him, and trying to come up with these elaborate ways to prove that it's not him, and everything, and eventually, they do a mask for mask, and it's got to be Gable, obviously. But I enjoyed that. I gave that a B. Moving on, number 9, Jade Cargill and Naomi. That wasn't totally clean, but it was pretty good. I think Jade still needs some work if she's going to get to the point where she's going to, fight, say, a Bianca Belair or have a one-on-one with Bianca Belair for a title at Mania. If she's going to get to that spotlight where she's going after the title or maybe even defending it. Like Tiffany, I'm just super shocked that, that Tiffany Stratton's first big moment at WrestleMania is defending and keeping the title against Charlotte Flair. But that actually made total sense as far as, hey, I won the Royal Rumble and I'm challenging you. You're the champ. So, yeah. So, okay, if she's the champ leading into it and you get challenged, okay, great. I didn't really think the story made much sense with why she chose Tiffany. Tried to do the best they could with it. I didn't think it was really working tremendously. And then we get the crossing of the lines with Tiffany having a little bit of a deal, I guess, where it seemed like she couldn't really rise to the moment and got flustered in the split screen. I believe it was 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Got flustered there, so I was thinking, oh, maybe she's not ready yet. Maybe they're going to put it back on Charlotte, have Charlotte win 15, because I do think Charlotte's got to get to 16 at some point, and her and her dad both have 16. That's how many they have, and you look back at the history book, that's how many she has, and I think that's about right. I think it's about right. Maybe they've had that planned for a long time. Maybe they don't have it planned at all. I don't know. But I think 2 more is in her. I thought she might have got it there, but I thought it was a really kind of a career elevating and defining thing for Tiffany Stratton to defend the title there. But I was talking about Jade and Naomi. I gave that a B- at number 9. Just as personal as it was, I thought it should have been a little bit more. I don't know. But kudos to Naomi for getting as far as she did with that heel turn, and for them to make that work as good as they did to where it turned into a WrestleMania match. Good on them. Alrighty, we are down to number 8, Logan Paul, AJ Styles. A lot of this had to do, I probably should have made, it probably should be a little bit farther down, but the reason it's up decently high here is because just the Logan Paul factor, man. Say what you want, but he is one of the top 10 men, top 15 in the entire industry. I am going to reveal the top 10 men and women briefly at the end of this WrestleMania post-recap show, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And please like, follow, and subscribe if you like what you see. Much obliged. Yeah, I had that at a B-, and I know you're probably like, oh, Gary, you had these differently. You graded this one higher or that one lower, and you have them out of order based on what you graded. Well, that was a grade I gave him in the moment. This was looking back, going after it a couple days later and ranking him on all those different layers. And yes, entrances and star factor have a lot to do with that. I really, really enjoy Logan Paul's interest in the drone and everything he does. Just his presentation is, no pun intended, it is phenomenal. I thought this build was not very good. I thought the match, though, was pretty darn decent. But I really loved Logan Paul's. He's just such a big star, man, and it's just incredible everything that he does and how he just looks so natural, continues to look fantastic in the ring, and just continues to elevate and take things to another level with the way he goes about things in ring, out of the ring, on his way to the ring, all the above. So I gave that at number 8, and at number 7 I had Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. I thought that was the right outcome. Yeah, it hurts Priest a little bit, but he's still on Mania. Still had a big match on Mania, but Drew had to have some kind of comeuppance after everything that he's been through. And, he's on his way leaving the ring and says, I told you I was right about everything, yada, yada, yada. That table spot was pretty darn good. Some other big moments. I thought maybe it could have been even wilder for a Sin City street fight. But they're 2 pretty big men, and they can only do so much with how crazy they get. So I thought it worked pretty good. I gave it a B-. At number 6, let's see, we got to find number 6 on the list. It is the 4-way Intercontinental Championship. Gave that a B. We already talked a little bit about Dirty Dom winning it. I thought maybe that was, besides the triple threat match, night 1 main event, I thought that this was one of the better finishes, if not maybe the second best, better finishes, without, looking and studying all of them just off the top of my head right now. And what I remember, I think this is probably the second best finish. It was just amazing with, we had the coup de grace on Braun Breaker, and then Finn's got the pin, and here comes Dirty Dom and hitting the move so perfectly on Finn. It's a frog splash, right, if I remember. It's just the timing of that was all so perfectly done and set up, and boom, Dom steals it just like that, man. Wow. And just, wow, this total turnaround with him and the crowd cheering for him, pretty incredible. Definitely looking forward to seeing what happens with that moving forward. As far as what happens with Braun Breaker, I wasn't surprised that he lost this, just because I think they're going to move him on to the title picture. And I don't know if everybody's liking, though, when does he go against Jey Uso, or what do you have to do? Maybe he just goes into, maybe it's not directly into the title picture, but maybe it's to the main event picture. In there with guys that are main eventers, you know, a la maybe a guy like Drew McIntyre, somebody like that. I don't know if he mixes it up with CM Punks and the Seth Rollins. Like that level, I think, is where Braun goes to next. So I wasn't surprised that they took the belt off him in that match. What else? What else? We're down to number 5 on the list. I think this is at number 5 just because of my love of, and I mean, Jacob Fatu winning that U.S. Championship over L.A. Knight. I thought L.A. Knight, underrated performance again at WrestleMania, did an outstanding job. Jacob Fatu, this gets him to that next level, gives him to the championship. I thought maybe we were going to see Solo come out and screw him over. Man, just think how far Solo has fallen since he lost that Ula Fala to Roman Reigns. Jacob Fatu takes a spot. Did he not? Did he not take a spot? Otherwise, this is Solo defeating LA Knight. But man, Solo was like, and then man, come crashing down. But I think he'll try to do something to build him back up. Or maybe he just gets totally outshined. And then, you know, when they do break up, and then Fatu, I think, wins that rivalry over Solo once they eventually break up. And I died. Fatu, Roman Reigns, like Fatu, whoever. Such a great job, and just so natural at what he does. I think his mic work's only going to continue to get better and better. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get to the level of a Roman Reigns and those guys, but it could get close enough to where he's a main event guy as well. Just that look, just the look for him. For me, it's the look on his face, and it's the way he goes about making the moves and the facials and everything he does is in ring just incredible, and he's getting better on the mic. I think he's next level. I absolutely freaking love him, as does a big portion of the WWE universe, as you hear. I'm giving that match an A. Number 4, I did have Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I thought that was one of the best entrances. Rollins was up there. We're talking about best entrances now for a little bit. Rollins was up there as well with the fire gun, flamethrower, and then going from black into white was pretty phenomenal. I thought the Buff Barbie doll, I thought CM Punk getting played out by In Living Color was really good. I thought New Day's gear was pretty good. But man, you just hadn't seen it used before. And this goes back to maybe talking about El Grande and how they might mix a storyline in with some hologram. I love the Barbie dollhouse and the holograms. And you could tell, you knew, but if you didn't, you know, if it didn't make logical sense that Tiffany's, obviously she's going to be in the middle, but I thought those holograms looked very, very real. I thought they were a really nice touch. I was a big fan, huge fan. Cody's entrance, obviously, the mask and everything, and just epic. Roman's entrance, like all those guys, obviously epic. But I thought that my favorite entrance was that I love the Barbie doll entrance. Just a career-making and elevating moment for Tiffany Stratton. And like I said, it kind of flew under the radar, not that interested until like the last couple of weeks for the build. Kind of got me excited enough to at least be fairly invested with it. And then I thought they did. I thought they had a really, really solid match. Charlotte, you know, yeah, say what you will about it, but I was a fan of that. It probably should maybe be a little bit down lower on the list. And I mean, as far as like personal favorites go, like Fatu winning, I pop more for Fatu winning it, but I just think the whole body of work with Tiffany and Charlotte was pretty spectacular. Number 3, yes, I already mentioned it. Like, how in the world, like you said, you're so shitty, Gary. It's so shitty. And yeah, I'm just like, it wasn't a huge fan of it at all, but I got it at number 3. That is John Cena and Cody Rhodes at number 3, just because of the historical significance of it, and John Cena breaking the all-time record at 17. That's why it's at number 3. At number 2, I had that women's championship triple threat match to lead off night 1. I had picked Bianca. I think Scotty had picked Rhea. he may argue with me differently and said he picked. I forgot to mark down who we picked on night 2, but I didn't see EO retaining. But now you know hindsight, you play Monday morning quarterback. I'm like, oh, of course EO retained. Why? Rhea's already had a big WrestleMania moment, several. Bianca, same thing. EO hadn't really had one, and just the whole build to that with them disrespecting EO so much. Leading into that every single week, pushing her face, getting her out of the way. Disrespect she earned. They have to give her props now. She had to have earned their respect after that, no doubt. That was a classic. I thought the bookend, the triple threats themselves were the 2 best things on the card. EO retained that. I gave that an A-, and I gave that triple threat, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, an A frickin' plus. I saw it coming, and even though, days before, the only thing that kind of threw me off the trail, because I thought maybe they want to, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it moves forward with it, but the Seth telling Paul that he owed him a favor. So does now Paul Heyman come out there and say, well, this was all planned all along. He was never going to really stomp my face or whatever. But even Paul, talking to Pat McAfee, said, when did you know you were going to turn on him and do this and do that? And he said, when I hit him. I think the whole Punk thing, yeah, that was clearly a setup based on what Paul Heyman was saying on Pat McAfee's show today. And that was spectacular, by the way. If you get a chance to watch that, it was pretty awesome. Apparently, I didn't see John Cena on there, but apparently he was just acting normal and not even like a heel on there. It's just like, at least Heyman acted like it halfway for a good portion of it. Was playing a little kayfabe there, like, God, if you're really going to make us believe Cena, then you need to go totally old school here and do like you just did in the press conference where he said that's a clickbait question. I didn't see him on Pat McAfee. Take Scotty's word at face value here, so I don't know. I don't have a really personal opinion on that one myself. But I thought Paul Heyman was fantastic, and just with what he said on there, yeah, like he was CM Punk, like put him in such a tough spot to where he made him choose, and that's not really what your best friend should be doing to you. So Paul Heyman's got a story with that. He's already kind of started to tell it on Pat Mac. I think it's going to be interesting. We hear from him tonight on Raw, hopefully, how that's told moving forward on why he ended up siding with Seth Rollins. And then as Paul Heyman was saying on Pat Mac as well, just like where Roman was at in 2022, like it's the same thing is going to happen with Seth, and I believe him, and I'm all for it, man. I got to interview Seth back in the day, and it was, I hold some of those guys near and dear to my heart. So I eventually liked him from day one. He's very nice, courteous in the interview, and so from that point on, I loved him. I was always invested in what he can do, and then he just, I think this will get him to that next level with being with Paul. I mean, he's already there, but you look at him, and Roman went to here, and like, well, more way up here, but Seth's still kind of like right here. He can go boom, right there, after winning that main event and securing, like they did such a great job in the build to that with no titles on the line, of making me believe that it should be in the main event with the video package they put together and everything that went down before that, the way they thread that story together, because I was kind of pissed off at Punk, being like, man, this should just be Roman and Seth here, but without Paul Heyman being in the middle of that, none of this it wouldn't have been as good. Like I said, I can hate on Jey Uso on how they went about booking that and taking him out and putting this in the main event all I want, but I freaking love this main event. It was my favorite thing in the entirety of WrestleMania. A+ for that. Just a couple other side notes. Stone Cold wrecking the four-wheeler. That's a classic. That'll be a classic. I thought such a gentleman, though, making sure everybody's okay, but he knew he had to go do his segment, so he kind of checked on him a little bit, but he went back over there, apologized. Pretty sure that's what was happening afterwards. Like, I'm really sorry, ran into that. Everybody's okay, right? Like, true professional and making sure that everything was good. And very, very kind thing to do, but that was freaking hilarious. Him crashing the I crashed the four-wheeler to the barricade. Anything else that really sticks out? I think that's about, about sums it all up. Let me know your comments in the old comment section, would you? Appreciate it. Let's do my top 5. Yeah, top 10. I think I said top 10. We'll do top 10. That's what I said. Top 10 men's and women's post-Mania edition. Coming right up. We'll start with the ladies, and forgive me if I got a few here maybe that should be down further than they have been. It's been a while since I checked on this, so I was like, oh crap, I got to go back in and move a lot of people around. So mention a few on the outside looking into the top 10. Mercedes Moné, Mariah May, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Roxanne Perez, just to name a few. At number 10, I got Lyra Valkyrie. Thought she took a big step forward. Winning the tag, she's Lyra 2 belts. She's Lyra 2 belts, baby. She's moving up in the women's division, that's for sure. Number 9, I still got Liv Morgan, even though she lost. Number 8, got Jade Cargill. Huge WrestleMania win for her. Big return by Becky Lynch at 7, even though Charlotte lost. And really, another just great WrestleMania performance by her. Like, what do you do with her now after this? I thought that might have been the only reason I might make her win, let her have the title again. Because otherwise, I just don't, unless she's going to do something to reinvent herself, it's just the same old with Charlotte Flair. And it's hard. I think it's hard to get me invested just because you haven't really presented me anything new with her, even though she's the GOAT. At number 5, I got Bianca Belair. Number 4, Rhea Ripley. Number 3, Io Sky. Those 3 women right there together in the top 3, just because that was such a great match. So all 3 of them earned it. Gotta put Io above them all though, because she won it. She won it. Like, I was coming in, I'm just like, I'm not still hugely invested in Io Sky, just because I think I literally counted on the press conference. I think she said roughly about 30 words in English, and that was it. And that's such a big part is promos. But her in-ring makes up for it, man. And her presence and what she can do makes up for it. And I see why they put her as champ. Give her a manager, though. I don't know if that hurt her or help her, but give her somebody that can speak English. Or, man, and can we not make this like UFC? Can we not get a translator in there for the press conference? Come on. What are we doing here? Number 2, I got Tiffany Stratton. Huge moment. Like I said, we've already talked about that a lot. Huge step forward for her in career. And at number 1, I know you might be like, really? Right after WrestleMania? You can't even put somebody that's in WWE at number 1. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. My apologies, but I love me some Toni Storm. This is kind of a personal thing here, and the person, it's like, what wins out? What wins out? Well, in this case, it wasn't the fact that she's got the belt, and though that helps. It wasn't somebody who was on WrestleMania and had a big match like those other 3 girls, but I just love her too much. I love her too much. I just think the work she's doing and continues to do, and how she, faked us out there for a while, put on the performance of her life, being the regular Toni Storm, and then going back and being back to Timeless, and then taking that character to another level that we hadn't seen before on the whole Timeless scale. Just like keeps leveling up with that character and new wrinkles and layers of it. I just think she's the best. And so that's why she's at number 1. On to the men! Outside looking into the top 10. And this will probably be, I don't know, man. I was, you know what? I'm not. I'm going to put, I had Gunther at number 9. I got Dom Mysterio at number 10. You're like, really? Wow. Well, yeah. You wait and see what happens tonight on Raw, and you see why, probably. And before, I was like, wow, never in a million years. Never in a million years. But I think he's must watch. He's going to be must watch. The crowd's cheering. I'm very interested to see what happens with him. I never thought I'd say that in a million years. Lord, please help me. I'm sure Ray's really proud of him breaking kayfabe. But at number 9, moved Gunther out of the top 10, so he's on the outside looking in, along with guys like Randy Orton, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Damian Priest, LA Knight, MJF, Jon Moxley, New Day, Swerve, to name a few. At number 10, got Dom. Number 9, I'm going Logan Paul. Number 8, I got Drew McIntyre. We've already talked a lot about these guys, so I'm just going to keep clicking down the board here. Number 7, I got Jacob Fatu. At number 6, I got Roman Reigns. Number 5, I got CM Punk. And even though it led off the show, trying to put my old school, I know sometimes you got to get with the times, they say. Get with the times. I do a lot of the times, but such a hard pill to swallow with Uso not being in the main event. But it's huge for him. I think quickly we'll be able to forget that wasn't in the main event. At least I hope so. And I want to go back to yeeting my head off again. But I actually found myself rooting for Gunther in that match. Weird, huh? Regardless of all that, I still love me some Jey Uso. Yeet. Even though it was no yeet, not being in the main event. Number 3, I got Cody Rhodes. Boy, can he stay up there? Can he stay up there? Is he going to fall? What happens with Cody after this? What happens with Cody after this, guys? Extremely interested to find out. Buddies were joking with at a WrestleMania party last night. He's probably going to go back to AEW, maybe. Tell you what, fun ways make WrestleMania super fun. We played WrestleMania bingo. Like, we made up our own bingo cards because the ones that I had seen online were just way too convoluted and ridiculous and just too. I guess they were trying to play out for the both nights of it. I don't know because we started about the 3rd match in. I made it during the Drew McIntyre Damian Priest match, and it ended up being pretty darn fun. But obviously making some side bets on the matches and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but just added that extra layer to make things really kind of fun. So WrestleMania bingo, highly recommend that. At number 2, I got Seth Rollins. Nothing else to be said. We've already talked about that a lot. He's in the best match, and he's the winner of the best match. He's going to be right up there at the top. At number 1, though, I got to go with John Cena, breaking the all-time record. That's it. Don't forget to hit thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, all that good jazz. This has been the WrestleMania Post Edition. Greatly appreciate your support. God bless.